So, making your own rag rug. Or maybe that's just that's my intro. Hi, I'm Ellen Burns. That's me, host and coordinator of Smart Living Ballarat. All right, so why make your own rag rug? Diverting textile waste from landfill, satisfying craft project with zero costs. Craft projects and arts can cost a lot of money, and this costs you nothing unless you don't own a pair of scissors. You have to buy one. Zero emissions, personalize your home, completely customizable, and it's free. Favorite. This is a rag rug that I did a couple of years ago, and I did not connect the ends properly, so there's a few holes in it that I'll have to tie up. So I'm going to show you how to connect the ends properly, which I didn't do in this example, but this shows you kind of the circle example, and I started with a lot of black. This was all t-shirts of my husband's that he had worn to within an inch of their life. So a lot of black he wears, a bit of white and grey. But for this design, I chose to do black and then a contrasting white, fading out to grey, black, grey, white, black. It's kind of you choose how you're going as you go it. And then you can also choose to mix the colours completely these I did this week to give you a bit of an example. That's what it looks like when you use strips of all the same colour. And then that's what it looks like when you use 3 different colours mixed together. So again, you can choose your design, and you might be a bit limited in what clothes you have that need to be made into rags, but also hopefully the clothes that you have is kind of how it works. So step 1, collect your materials. So I have pre-cut a bunch of strips. I've got a few different colours here. I don't know whether to maybe pass you around the bag. There's some more colours underneath as well. Started rolling them very nicely, and then that was taking me forever. So I gave up on that, and the rest are just kind of in the top. That's a nice long strip. There are a couple of like short strips in there. For a start, just choose the long strips. If you can, 3. It can be any material, but stretchy or slightly stretchy is a bit easier to work with. This is a fitted sheet that lost its elastic, so that's not stretchy at all. Yeah. Sure. On the
usually 112 centimetres. Jersey usually comes in 150. So woven fabric like shirt, if you cut it on the diagonal, it makes it stretchy. Like so, even if you want to make a dress, like your dress is, give it that. So yeah, the thing is, you'll end up with those little bits that you join off.
Yes. Yeah. So you'll have some really long strips and then some short, whereas if you just cut it horizontally or vertically, they'll be kind of the same length. It doesn't need to be stretchy, but you just need to be giving yourself kind of enough wiggle room to be able to weave into. So if you start plaiting it really, really tight and it's not a stretchy material, you'll be a bit stuck. The other thing with using stretchy material is if you weave it too tight, it stretches really thin. So you don't need to, just like be quite relaxed about it, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I mean, again, it depends on the design that you're wanting to do. This kind of, I cut about 2-3 centimetres. If you wanted to do a really fine, intricate one, you could cut thin strips. It would be a lot more work to get the same size. But you could if you wanted to do a really like dainty little detail one, you could cut really thin strips. it's quite forgiving. Like I haven't measured this, like the strips, and it doesn't really matter if they're a bit uneven. I've just literally, you can see when you pull the strips out, I've just literally cut, like they might be a bit wobbly or whatever, but it doesn't matter in the end result. So yeah, the other thing I say there is be careful when you're mixing materials. So it doesn't really matter what material it is, but if you're going from a really stretchy, jersey material to a denim, that's gonna be a bit clunky when it mixes in the rug. So it's more about matching like with like than it is about doing a specific type of material. I think like t-shirt material is kind of the easiest one to work with. You could do denim, but it would be stiff to weave in, but you could do it. Tuck your pants, yeah, absolutely. Make a little kind of like fleecy, yeah, pretty much anything. Yeah, use the same kind for best results. Cut them around 2 centimeters wide is what I've said. That makes this kind of size of weave. And to start your rug, you'll be knotting 3 pieces in a knot as tight as you possibly can, because you want the knot as small as it can be. So you're just gathering the 3 ends, doing a knot, and pull it as tight as you possibly can. I'm not going to pull it because that's the end. So that's the knot that starts this rug. You want, and I actually cut the end off to make it as close to the end as possible as well. I've got 4 pairs of scissors, which is obviously less than the people that we have. I've only got 1 pair of good material scissors. Excellent, brought your own scissors. Yeah, cool. So if you want to, chop the end, the bit that's hanging out of your knot, if you want to chop that as close to the knot as possible to stop it hanging out when you get to that point, just grab a pair of scissors. This again, the knot didn't go very tight because it's a stiff material. You can get it quite small if you're using a stretchy material like a t-shirt kind of material. You can get a bit like a bit tight. So, yeah, just a knot in the end. Doesn't matter if your strips are different lengths as well, because we will be connecting the next strips onto the ends of them. So don't worry too much about that. And you kind of, usually you end up with one side of the rug that looks nice and one side that has the knot and looks a bit like this material frayed a little bit. So I've just tried to, when I've folded the bits around, there'll be a join side and a nice side, if you know what I mean. So as you're plaiting, if you want all the nice bits to be on one side, so there will be kind of a way up that your rug goes. This rug is the same. You can see that on this side there's a lot of joins and the knot, and then this neater. Yeah, right on the end. So it's very hard to get it right on the end. So if you want to just cut the end off to make it neat. Another pair of scissors. Set my bean back. Size and sit on this. So once you have tied a knot in the end of your strips, you're basically going to start plaiting. Now, depending on whether you want to do a circle rug or a rectangle rug, the way to do a rectangle rug is to basically do a plait the length of the rug that you want. And then when you get to the length that you want, you'll turn around and go back the other way. So you can make it as big or as small as you want. So that's the way to do it if you want a rectangle. If you want a circle, you'll basically start working its way in on itself almost straight away. So with a circle, you only want to plait for probably 2 inches. You can, if you're at home, you can tape the end, tape your knot to a table so it doesn't move. That makes it easier to do a rectangle, especially because you want the plait as straight as you can get it. So you could tape the knot up there and then plait straight for as long as you want. With a circle rug, I don't find it makes a huge amount of difference because you're only plaiting this much and then you're turning it around anyway. Should I get some strips so that I'm literally doing it in front of me? That would probably make it easier. Grace, are you gonna? Yeah. No. So you want it quite. You're going to plait back in, so you want it quite, relaxed. Do you want 3 of the same color? Or? There's another purple. There's like a grey one. There's not many of the grey ones. And then there's black as well. I'll do 3 different colors because it'll be easier to see that. The grey ones are a bit short. Purple. And purple. Yeah, those are my good scissors. Okay. So yeah, you get your 3 bits, tie them in a knot, tight as you possibly can. Snip the end to keep it tidy. And then start plaiting. So most of us here will have done plait before in our lives at some point. There you go. So basic concept is outside in. So you're right over to the middle, left over to the middle, right to the middle, left to the middle. Are most people wanting to make a round or a rectangle? Rectangle? In which case, just keep plaiting for as long as you want the rug to be. Round, probably about that much. I'll start a round because this is a rectangle example. I can continue. And anytime you come across a seam like that, I just cut through the seams on t-shirts because otherwise you waste quite a lot of material because you're wasting the sleeve. So I just cut through the sleeve and keep going. But you'll get a seam like that. I just fold it in so the seam is on kind of the inside of the string and weave it in like that, and the weave will keep it in. So yeah, just as long as you want. When it's the size, when it's the length that you want, then you'll turn around and weave it in on it. For a circle, probably, so 2 inches, probably about that long. And then what you're wanting to do is fold it, curl itself around like that. Doesn't matter. Probably depends if you're left-handed or right-handed. I curl it to the left, I think, so that why do I curl it to the left? Doesn't make a difference. Curl it around, and then with the string that you have on the left, you're wanting to open it up and pull that through. Yeah, yeah. Hang on, let me face this way. Does that make it easier? So I had the plait, I grabbed the string that was on the left, I grabbed the closest outside bit of the braid and I put it under and over. Who's very confused and would like me to show them? No, this is like the trickiest bit, is just getting this little bit started. Once you get going.
All right, so with the connecting, and then where would I start connecting?
So just after the knot.
Oh,
so if your knot's there,
okay.
you just pick up one of those bits there, and the same
This one.
So I should cut it that way, and then just pick up the closest.
And this, so it's
And
the left.
Yeah, the closest in. Yeah, the long strips are you just have to.
And then just keep going with that.
So then.
Oh, and then it's
outside in.
Yeah.
Outside in, and then that's your inside bit, and then that would pick up the next one.
Okay.
Now the thing with the circle ones is that you want each ring to be longer than the ring before. So you actually have to do a couple of plaits and then hook it in. Whereas a rectangle works slightly differently, and I'll show you that.
You said not small. I think the over the thing.
Oh yeah.
Sticking.
That is good. So turn it around. Yeah, I might actually just make it as
Or maybe two.
standing here.
Yeah, for some reason this just wants to be a little bit longer to reach around.
That's that.
There we go.
Oh. Oh, see, it is on the right hand side. I did on the left.
Oh, sorry, am I going to confuse you now? I don't know why I'm doing it round to the right and just after the knot. And so then you would keep.
So no sewing involved.
No sewing involved. Yeah,
Okay.
it's just plaiting.
When you plait it, when you pull it through, do you
Yep.
pull it through the actual plait or just a single thing, like through there, or do you do it through?
No, through the loop. Yeah.
That one, and go through that hole there.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Any
Yeah.
hole? I was gonna cut it.
Yes.
Yeah, left hand.
Oh, you can.
Should have bought more.
Oh, left-handers. You can cut it at home. Yeah.
Like this.
Yeah.
Big and put in.
Does anyone else need me to show them? Yes. Yep.
Sorry.
No, that's all good. Yep. So folding it round on itself, just in a circle.
Yeah.
Then grabbing the one that's closest to the loop that's closest and pulling it through.
And how often do you do that?
Like about every 3 plaits. What have I done? Okay. So then you'd keep plaiting outside in, probably another one, and then pull the next loop closest to the closest loop. It will feel clunky at first, but once you kind of get going.
Thank you.
Yeah, so folding around on itself,
Yeah.
choosing the closest to the middle,
Yeah.
and then the closest loop under and through. And then keep plaiting for about another inch.
And go around.
Yeah. It looks a bit. I think it's just because it's quite little. So that, yeah, just keep plaiting
and then go around that way.
So I'd plait for another, say, 2 inches maybe.
Thank you. 2 inches. You do it by 2 inches. Oh.
Yeah, kind of, because you need every ring is bigger than the first ring, so you can't just loop in every loop because it kind of try and be the same size. Yeah, do about probably that much, like 1.5 inches, and then loop it back in, because then that will make it.
The next one would be 4 inches.
Yeah. Not looping every single time, unless you're doing a rectangle, and then with a rectangle you do loop every time. I'll show you that.
So this one down there and up through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then keep.
Yeah. And then loop through.
Doing the whole.
Yep. Yep. Beautiful. Yep. That looks right. Rectangle.
So
Yes. So turning around. Yeah. I'll get my steps up today. So turn and
So it's that outside.
and then so you'd
that
actually loop back in on itself into the rectangle, and then with a rectangle you'll actually be looping every time. Yeah.
So you keep plaiting, but I'm going through the loop.
Yes.
To the left. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Probably do a little bit more.
more.
Yeah. And then the one on your left goes through the first loop.
Yeah. After the loop.
Yeah.
So from
under.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then keep plaiting. It just, the first bit just looks a bit.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me.
Yeah. it will all become clear. Yeah, so that knot just keeps out of the way.
Other way.
Yeah.
Okay. And now turn it.
Turning, is that the right? That's the same direction we did before.
No, we'll turn to the
That
left.
way, yeah. So
they go
round and then and then pick up
that purple one.
Yeah. I find 3 different colours is actually easier.
Yeah, that's why I changed.
Because especially for a rectangle when you're picking up every single one.
Then that left goes straight in.
Yep. Yep. And then a couple and then
pick it up.
Yep.
Oh, actually, because if it's 3 colour, theoretically, you could pick up 2 colours and just leave the middle one always in the middle.
Yes. Yeah.
That's probably, mine is not.
That's beautiful. That looks amazing.
I'm thinking that.
Yeah. So if you do a little bit too long or whatever, it's not going to matter. You're just going to have a tiny little hole. Like if you plait 2 inches and then loop back in, there might be a little hole. It's not going to be noticeable. Finish it. You never have to increase how much plaiting you're doing because each ring is bigger again, if that makes sense. So you're always doing roughly the same amount of distance before you do it again. Yeah. Yeah, like kind of like 1, 2, 3, pick up the next. Yeah. Yep. And then turn it around on itself. Yep. And then the one that's closest. Yep. Beautiful.
And then
exactly
I back stack again.
Yep. Back like kind of 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Like 3 kind of goes, if you know what I mean. Like. Okay.
Not the length of that.
Shorter strips. What's happened here? There we go.
Okay.
Yes. I think that one's just got caught up a little bit. There we go. There we go. With longer strips, you might actually find standing is easier because they can worry about themselves.
So that I looped that one, and then it's that one.
Just try and tuck the knot so it gets kind of covered. Yeah. So that's the inside one. Yep. So go out to in. Out. So probably like, yeah, kind of probably about, and then
Yes, we did do 3. And
yeah, and then loop it.
again.
Yeah,
I
can't find your hole. But
Yeah.
that's all right. Yeah, so that was our step 3, turning it back in on itself and looping under the closest one. And then, yeah, basically keep going. The circle ones are much trickier at the start, and then as the rug gets bigger, it gets quite a lot easier. For the rectangle ones, yeah, you've got yours sorted out. Have you figured out how to turn around?
I'm getting it.
I'm sort of flooding.
Yeah. The rectangle one is easier, I reckon, if you like tape the end to it. It makes it a bit,
Yeah, I should.
And then with 3 different colors, I've stopped this one so that I could show. What's that like when you end up with the 3 different colors? The easiest way to do it I've found is picking up always the same color. So when you've got the outside going in,
Yeah.
outside going over, you'll then have the pink going through the pink.
Okay.
In this case.
Yeah.
And then you just don't have to think about it, because you know that the next time you'll have outside in, and then you'll have blue going through blue.
Okay.
See that? And then you know you've picked up every stitch, so to speak.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Your rectangle looks like it's going well over there. Good. We've got 2 people doing rectangles, everyone else is doing stuff. I might just show everyone, sorry, what's your name? Emma. I might just show everyone what I just showed Emma in case you decide to do a rectangle one in the future. I've found that using 3 different colors is actually way easier, because you're finding that by using the same color, because you can get it to the point where you're always looping through the same color with the same color. So that's why I left this end to show you. So you've got your 3 bits hanging out there. You go outside in, then you'll be picking up white with white. So you'll be going under with the white, and then it's every stitch with a rectangle. So again, outside in and under, and then you'll be picking up pink with pink. So you know that you've picked up every stitch. Whereas when it's with the same color, you have to go, which one is the thing coming out of? Oh yeah, it's coming out of that one, so I'm picking up the next loop. You know, you're always picking up with a rectangle, you're always picking up the next loop, because you want it to be the same size with the left one. Yeah. So the middle one basically does nothing. You just ignore whatever is the middle strip. You just ignore every time. You're going with the outside over, and then you can talking to my brother about this the other day, and he was getting confused about seeing it, because I was saying over and then under, and he thinks of that as the pink going over, not the blue going under. But when you think about the blue going over and under and then looping through, you only have to think about one color at a time. The blue is the active one. You're going over, under, and through with the blue. Whereas when you're plaiting, you're often thinking about it being over and over as 2 different steps, not over and under being 1 step. Does that make sense? How's everyone going? Yeah, you've just invented a new type of rag.
Oh, what am I doing?
That's all right. You might just be plaiting like a bit too long before you're picking the next one. So try just making that a little bit shorter. See if it was like about that long.
Oh, yeah.
It
like
would
about
be
inch
tight
there.
in like that. Yeah,
An inch and everything. Okay.
yeah,
Have you got any more strips?
I do. Yeah. So I've got plenty more strips, and when you run out, the next step is to show you how to connect the ends without sewing. Yes, the turquoise ones are from a fitted sheet that the elastic perished. So those are very long strips. Yeah. Yeah, you might want to use the same material, Karen, just because this material isn't very stretchy. So you might, I think all the rest are all kind of the same.
Yeah. Here you go.
You come to get your egg, huh?
Go on back again.
Yeah.
It's kind of like knitting, where when you're kind of when you kind of get going, it's very easy, and then for the rectangle, but it's like turning around and starting the new row, similar with knitting. It's like, hang on, how do I do this again? And then you're just going for the rest of it.
When you miss a jumper, it's without even. You should have.
Yes, yes. And that's what I was going to say with this. I don't know if you first saw this when I first put the rib down. The middle has quite a like. That's from carrying it as it folded as a triangle. So if it gets like that, you just spritz it with water and pat it flat, or you might put a book on it, something heavy. It will dry flat. So if it gets a bit misshapen, again, because it's stretchy material, as you're plaiting it, it might get a bit misshapen. You can just spritz it with water and sit it flat, and it will go to flat. Yeah. So connecting the ends of the some demo bits for you here. To connect the ends, you'll snip, like just kind of fold the end and snip a little bit so it's got a little hole in it, and then get your new strip and do the same. Snip it so it's got a little hole in it. Then you'll pass the new strip through your existing strip, tuck the tail in, pull. No sewing. So I didn't connect the ends properly together in this. I did this one. No, I didn't. I didn't know that trick. I was kind of, you can go back over these if you want and sew them like around in a circle or across. I thought that just tucking the ends, like tucking them in quite like overlapping. I just tuck them in. And as you're maybe wash, it actually, I didn't know this trick. This is definitely. So again, beautiful. I also have this t-shirt that I was going to show you. Cut things up. This got sun bleached. Sitting out in our sunroom. We use our sunroom to dry all our laundry, and this t-shirt just got in my house. It actually was on a couch, and then I was using it as a bed, and I didn't want to move it. And then by the time I put it back through the wash, it had gotten sun bleached. Yeah, it's a bit tie-dye, but I didn't cut it yet. Just show you cut t-shirts. So yeah, well, yeah, you can. I guess it's got that stretchy kind of, and it probably doesn't. Yeah, yeah. Yes, which is not really what you want. Yeah, and you want strips as much as you can, strips the same, especially if you're using 3 different colors. If you're using the same color, it doesn't. If one strip runs out, heaps before the next. But if you're using 3 colors, you need to keep touching other. So to cut up a t-shirt, I just turn it inside out and then cut up one of the side seams. Isn't it fun? So fun. I mean, like, how often do you get a fun craft project that's free? Literally free. Yeah. So I cut up the side seam. Then you could either choose to probably cut off the sleeve and make strips out of that, because otherwise you're basically trying to make it into a rectangle. So you cut it in strips, or you can cut strips instead. So t-shirts like this are good because the neck is even. A couple of these colors were V-necks, and the V caused some of the short strips. And then just finish by cutting the top side seam as well. And you cut. So that's the t-shirt. I've cut that off. I would then, you can cut strips out of that way. If you want, like, obviously short strips, you have to connect more frequently. The only bits that I basically end up not using are the collar, and I include seams in. So I would then start. I cut the bottom seam off, but I still use it, but I just use it as already. So I would cut that off, use it as a strip, and I would then start cutting strips of it. Yeah. It always somehow works out that one side looks pretty and the other side looks nice. So, and then step 7 is basically keep going until it's the size that you want. So that's kind of up to you. If you were making a placemat, you might only want it quite small. If you're wanting to, I mean, you could make a full room rug. There's no reason why you couldn't make massive. It's really up to you, and you can just keep going, and you can even change your mind later, because all you do when you think you've stopped is tie a knot in the end. So just the way that you started, just tie a knot in the 3, snip the end to be neat, and then if later you want the rug to be bigger, you could untie the knot, attach new strips, and keep going. Yeah. So then you're just wanting to turn around. It's just good. Yeah. There's no. The other thing you could do, if you didn't want a knot, the other thing you could do is do a little bit of sewing, just sew the 3 ends together at the start. just so they're neat. You could even do that with that if you did the knot, sewed it. Turn around and keep going. Oh, that's beautiful. Under rather than no, it'll just I just or you could it will just look. So if you do it the same way every, and it's very forgiving, as you can see. It's quite forgiving. And then also, once you strip away it's so I've just got some info slides as well as you're plaiting. If anyone gets stuck, you just put your hand in. Have a look at it for you, or if you need another demo on how to read the ends. I've got just got some info slides here about, why doing this is a really great thing, and the waste implications. So it's a little bit hard to read because so Australia is actually the highest consumer of textiles per person in the world, which is quite shocking, with no, it's Australia. So on average, Australians buy 56 items every year. Yes. Someone else is buying 200. Yeah. That is the scary thing about stats when you're like, who's on the other end? I mean, fast fashion, it's, we used to have maybe a couple of seasons a year. There used to be summer season, spring, autumn, winter, maybe. Now we have trends that last 2 weeks. Like, clothes are not made to last anymore. The trends don't go with seasons, and they're not to do with, back in the day, it was when you wore it enough to wear it out. Now it's going with the trends, wearing things out, or even with fashion cycles instead, like crazy. So they don't make clothes in general. They don't need to. People will get rid of them. Yeah. So you'll find that often with like stitching, bad stitching, things come apart at the seams, loose buttons, zippers, great materials. The way that it's made is so bad that it just falls apart. So more than 200,000 tons of clothing end up in landfill annually in Australia, that is. And the average person only wears 40% clothes. And of the clothes that go to charity, this is a big thing, only 15% is sold in Australia. The rest go to around 10% overseas. 15%, yeah. So it's a big problem, and I've seen people posting on Facebook. Does anyone know of any op shops actually taking donations? Because they're just so inundated that they just stop. They just go, no, we can't take anything at the moment. And part of that is fast fashion, and part of that is people trying to give things to the op shop. They can't see. They really. Oh, yes. Yeah, Ballarat. It's really great. Actually, a lot of like things that you think, oh, take it to the op shop. Will put their hand up. So op shops can't take anything that's ripped or very worn, like worn thin, damaged, broken zips, missing buttons, stained, discolored, like this one was, faded, you know, white t-shirts that have gone yellow, all that kind of stuff. Things that are peeling. This singlet I turned into strips because it's peeling quite badly, but when it's put into a rag rug, you're not going to notice that. Perished elastic, like this sheet was. Also, school uniforms and corporate uniforms, op shops often can't sell. I mean, obviously, if school uniforms are still good, you can usually find another family that.
Sports, it's the uniform. It's come in and you're like, okay, you can't get the smell out. I said,
Oh,
it's a freaking fortune. They're horrible. They just screen print them on. They're not woven. It's a polyester textile. But once they start smelling, you can't get the smell out.
oh no.
And then they've just come in.
Yeah, people don't realize that actually the polyester, the plastic stuff, eventually goes into your skin
and into the waterway.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then I laugh because it's, oh, we're doing this for the kids. And they're like,
Yeah.
okay, we clothe them in plastic. Plastic's going to go in our water. We're going to drink it. It's like,
We're washing it.
friendly in any way.
No.
Because the kilts that they used to do in, the kilts they used to do in wool, they're going eco fabric now. So they won't last. Like there's only about 3 or 4 items of clothing now that are wool or cotton. The rest is eco fabric.
Yeah, wow.
When by America, they're actually, I just read it last night, they're actually
To recycle.
going to be
It's
processing
recycled
clothes that are all natural. No polyester.
Yeah, it's just
right.
polyester.
Well, that's the other thing with the rag rugs is if you do make them out of clothes that are 100% cotton or wool, eventually at the end of its life you can compost it as well. So that's the other thing about mixing fabrics. You might want to keep an eye on what you're putting in the rag rug and not mixing plastics in with cotton, so that eventually when it reaches the end of its life, I mean, they have a lot of life to give, and they can be a doormat or whatever when you kind of relegate them down the list. Yeah, definitely. So you can wash them, and when you attach the ends properly together, it shouldn't come apart. Should stay all nice, and then just lie it flat so it stays nice and flat. The other shout out that I wanted to give, as well as Ballarat Good Karma Network, is the Ballarat Repair Cafe. They do mending as well as fixing items.
I've taken something there.
They do mending. So if you've got something that's still perfectly fine, you don't want to make it into a rag rug that's missing a button or the zip's broken or it needs a patch or something, you can actually take it to Ballarat Repair Cafe.
What do I do?
So
Who knows how to join again?
yes. Here we go. Perfect. So we've got hole, a new piece in the hole, just a little bit
In the hole?
in the hole. So it goes through the hole like that.
Yeah.
Pick up the end, put it through itself, the hole on its own one, pull it through, and then just pull it until it's tight.
Good call. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
is that right? Big old major.
Possibly. Or you might have done it further away from the end. It should kind of just tuck
It's all right. I'll
in on itself.
it'll be all right.
Yeah, it'll be all right.
Oh, thank you.
No worries. So Ballarat Repair Cafe is from 1 till 4 p.m. on the last Saturday of the month at Berkeley Square. If you haven't been there before.
There's lots of repair cafes around, actually, not just Ballarat.
Oh yeah, nice. It is a network,
So
isn't
you
it?
can go there, you can go to each one like every month, every weekend.
Different one for it.
That's one of the
It's like a farmer's market. Go around and visit the different ones.
Yeah, I think one at Becca's March too, no? I'm not sure.
Yeah, plenty in visiting a distance. How much waste do you make? None. Well, I've put none there. There's a tiny little bit. I think I kept cuts of the blue ones you shared.
just the, like, basically cutting off the collars of t-shirts, and a few little trims here and there. Can't find it. But you end up with a tiny little handful of scraps, usually from what you cut off. If you decide to sew the ends, or if you decide to sew over it later, you're just using the, you know, the little bit of thread and stuff from your sewing machine, but there's no reason to do that. It's basically you're making no waste.
I take girls little scraps like that to play groups and
Yeah.
And if you size with the stuffing.
especially.
So the impact of making your own rag rug, a new store-bought rug can emit up to 50 kilos of CO2, depending on the size and type, but that's about the average, 50 kilos. And then you're also avoiding the immense energy, water, and chemical usage associated with growing virgin cotton or creating synthetic fibers. And you're also avoiding the methane emissions created by textiles decomposing in landfill, which is really a really significant impact as well. The textile industry generates approximately 1.2 billion tonnes of CO2 annually, representing 8 to 10% of global carbon emissions. This impact is higher than emissions from all international flights and maritime shipping combined. So it is quite a big impact. And then the impact that you're making is none. You're making a big impact. The carbon emissions you're making by making the rug is none, because it's all reliant on your hand labour, unless you're using your sewing machine for a few little bits. But basically, you're putting your own energy into it. So it's not actually requiring any outside inputs. Yeah, cup of tea and a bit. Yeah. Input. Cost, it's free. Rugs generally cost between $50 to $300. They can cost tens of thousands of dollars if you're like getting a really big one for a room, which as I said before, there's no reason why you couldn't make an absolutely massive one of these. It would become quite unwieldy as it got bigger, but you could do it. And what are you paying? What does it cost? Absolutely nothing. Making your own rag rug is totally free. You could decide that you wanted some specific colors and go to the op shop and get some old sheets or old t-shirts. What I've suggested there is I've actually done a shout out to Ballarat Good Karma Network on this page, is that you could post up on something like Ballarat Good Karma Network or on our Facebook group, Smart Living Ballarat group, and go, hey, I'm looking for some more purples
or something,
some more blues for my rag rug, and I'm sure people would be more than happy to donate. Yeah,
for green specifically. Looking for green.
Yeah. I love. It's amazing how like you can ask for these specific things and people come through. Yeah.
There's your husband hiding all his t-shirts.
No, he doesn't have a very big wardrobe. He doesn't buy very many new items of clothing. So this really cleared him out of his backlog of t-shirts that really needed to go. But probably in another 5 years he'll need another. Well, he's got clothes that he's been wearing for 15 years.
Yeah, doing well for the environment.
Yes, his wardrobe is very environmentally friendly. So other benefits, as I said, it's fully customizable. Choose your colors, choose the design, when to mix in colors or leave it the same color. Choose your size. It is totally unique to you. And whether you do rectangle or circle or triangle, as we found out is possible. You can work on it in stages. You can decide later that you want it bigger and keep going. There's no reason why you can't, unless you decide to sew in the ends at the end as well. You might decide to sew in the ends. Your rag rug will be durable, machine washable. They're really amazing gifts. I wouldn't recommend this as a business because it takes so long to do. There is no way that you could make a profit on this. But you could decide to make some gifts for people, or some placemats, or some coasters would be quite, like this size, that probably literally took me 15 minutes. So yeah, thank you.
I was going to say,
Yeah. So
You know, you've got scrubbing.
reusing
Dishcloth.
yeah.
Dishcloth. Small little ones. Yeah. I've got dishcloths I was going to show you.
Yes, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I've done the basket weaving course and it's very similar.
Yeah.
So if you do this outside one really tight,
It kind of curls up.
and then you do it
make a
back
bowl.
around. And so, yeah, you make your, yes.
There's your bowl.
Your bowl.
you
Yeah.
make it
Yeah.
same way. Or
Yeah.
similar. Yeah.
So you can, there's so many different things that you can do, and you can turn them into gifts. Would be really amazing. Different colors for different people, different designs. It's very fun, as somebody said. It's meditative. It's empowering because it doesn't need any special skills. It's quite, you feel a sense of accomplishment after you've done it, and it's all your work. There's no sewing machine going in. It's just you, and you've made a thing. I think that's really cool. The other pro is one of the other workshops we've run in the past is free ways to stay warm, looking at things that you can do around your home for no cost to actually kind of help insulate your house and keep your house warm in winter. A lot of the houses in Ballarat have literally zero insulation in the walls, and especially if you're renting, but it can just be really expensive as well just to try and put retrofit insulation inside walls is really prohibitive, even if you own your own house. So just having rugs everywhere makes a really big impact, especially if you have floorboards or something like that. A lot of the houses in Ballarat would have floorboards and no underfloor insulation. It can get really, really cold. So having rugs everywhere really makes an impact. Even using them as wall hangings, putting rugs up on your walls, especially when you don't have insulation in your walls, makes a really big impact as well. So you could make a bunch of these and just put them all around your house and keep you nice and cozy in winter, and a knee rug as well. And if you do use cotton or wool natural materials, it will be compostable when it reaches the end of its life. And we've already spoken about this, but there's many other things that you can be making other than a rug. Placemats, trivets like pot holders, put a hot pot on the table, bath mats, door mats, play mats, change mats, wall hangings, coasters. We've come up with even more than I had on the presentation, actually.
This is just like getting our creative.
Possibilities are endless.
The last knot, is it always sort of on the end? Is there any way to hide it a bit?
Yeah, so that's where you could decide to do a little bit of sewing, either hand sewed, even, or a sewing machine. If you wanted to just like collect the end and just do a couple of stitches and maybe even just like tuck it into the next bit and stitch it on, so that it's nice and neat. And you might decide to do that with your original knot as well. You could undo your original knot and just stitch it so that it's nice and small, hidden and neat. If you want to, like I could actually stitch that together and then cut the knot off. That would be easy to do.
Some reason